Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Hello.
Today we're looking at a really interesting piece, one that kind of challenges a saying we all just accept.
Yeah, it's from Dr. Lutz Kraushaar. He's a doctor of public health, got his master's in exercise and nutrition, too. Writes a Substack called Double Check Doc.
Right. And this piece we're digging into, it basically argues this common phrase might actually be, well, bad for our health outcomes.
As strange as that sounds, yeah. That's the argument.
Okay. So our mission here, for you listening, is to unpack what Dr. Kraushaar is saying.
Mm-hmm. And understand this tool he talks about for, measuring and maybe mastering your own well-being.
Yeah, basically translate these maybe complex ideas into something you can actually use.
Let's get into it.
So what's the core issue he brings up?
It starts with that saying, health is priceless.
Okay. Yeah, sounds about right. Obvious, almost.
Well, he says, sure, we say that, but do our actions actually show it?
What makes him say that?
He points to some pretty stark numbers, like U.S. adults age 65 and over, 8 out of 10, 8, are burdened by more than one preventable chronic condition.
Wow. Preventable.
Preventable, and less than 1 in 10 has none at all.
Okay, that doesn't really scream priceless if we're letting preventable things happen on that scale.
That's exactly his point. And his argument is that a big part of the problem, the reason for this disconnect, is we lack a relatable way, a metric, to express our health-related quality of life. QOL.
Quality of life, both now and what it might be in the future.
Right. Without that personal measure, what happens?
Well, I guess you're kind of flying blind.
Exactly. You're sort of defenseless against, medical misinformation, TikTok, YouTube influencers.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing with that.
And even bogus scientific papers, like the flood of AI-generated stuff popping up now. You don't have that benchmark, that sort of true north to keep you on track for your own best QOO.
Okay, so if priceless isn't helping, and we don't have our own personal yardstick.
Yeah.
Is there anything out there? How do experts think about this?
Well, health economists actually do have a metric. It's called the QALY.
QALY.
QALY. It stands for Quality Adjusted Life Year.
Quality Adjusted Life Year. Break that down for us.
Okay. Simply put, it measures both things. Quantity, so the length of life.
How long you live.
And the quality of life lived during that time.
Right. So it's not just years, it's good years.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
The quality adjusted part means each year of life gets a score. Usually from 0, which is death, up to 1, which represents perfect health.
So a year in perfect health is 1 QALY.
Exactly. And a year in less than perfect health is, less than 1.
Give me an example.
Okay, so say a year living with uncomplicated type 2 diabetes. That might get a score, an average value of maybe 0.8.
So 1 year like that is worth 0.8 QALYs.
Correct. And if you live for 2 years in that state, you'd accumulate 1.6 QALYs. 2 times 0.8.
Okay.
Now, compare that to 2 years in perfect health, which would be 2 QALYs.
So the diabetes represents a loss. 0.4 QALY is lost over those 2 years compared to perfect health.
You got it. And the author stresses complications, things like stroke, kidney problems, they can make that QALY score drop much faster.
Okay, that makes sense conceptually.
Right.
But how do they figure out these scores? Like the 0.8 for diabetes, for whole populations?
They use standardized questionnaires. A really common one is called the EQ5D from Eurocall.
EQ5D, what does that ask?
It covers 5 dimensions of health: mobility, self-care, usual activities, pain or discomfort, and anxiety or depression.
With 5 things.
5 core areas. And for each one, people rate their level. No problems, slight problems, moderate, severe, extreme problems.
And combining those ratings gives you different health states.
Thousands of them, actually. The EQ5D5L version gives over 3,000 combinations. Researchers then survey big groups of people, often people with specific conditions, and they aggregate all those responses
To get an average score.
Yeah, these average QLOY scores, they're sometimes called value sets or tariffs. They represent the sort of typical impact of a condition on quality of life within that population.
Okay, so that sounds useful for, public health planning or research.
Hugely useful there.
But the author, Dr. Kraushaar, says these official tools, these questionnaires and tariffs, they don't really work for you personally. Why not?
Yeah, this is a really key distinction. Those value sets, those tariffs, they're averages.
Right.
They show how a sort of typical person in that group perceives a certain health state, but your own perception, your priorities. Maybe you care way more about mobility than about, say, mild anxiety or vice versa. That average might not reflect your values at all.
Plus, the average person doesn't actually exist, do they?
Exactly. And the author mentions there are even cultural differences in how people value these dimensions. So even a specific country's tariff is still just an average.
And practically, can I even use these tools?
Well, no, not really for personal use. These questionnaires, and especially the scoring tariffs, are often copyrighted. You can't just download them and get your personal score.
Okay.
And even if you could remember, the result would be based on population averages, not your specific individual perspective.
Right. So not a personal dashboard tool.
Yeah.
But you said they are useful for public health.
Oh, immensely. For health economists, for policymakers, these QALYs are critical.
How so?
They help answer really important questions like, does this new drug, this new treatment, actually improve people's quality-adjusted life years?
Does it add QALY?
Yes. And crucially, how much does it cost to gain one extra QLY? That's called the ICER, the incremental cost-effectiveness ratio.
Cost per QALY gained. And that's what insurance companies or governments use.
Absolutely. Payers use this QAY figure to decide if a treatment is worth it for the population, whether to subsidize it. Think about drugs like Ozempic. These calculations are happening.
So this directly shows that, in practice, health isn't treated as priceless by the systems making decisions.
Precisely. There are explicit or sometimes implicit thresholds for what they're willing to pay per QAY.
Can you give some examples? What are those thresholds like?
Sure. They vary a lot and they can seem a bit arbitrary sometimes. In the UK, the body NICE often uses a range around 20,000 to 30,000 pounds per QAY. Canada might use something like CAD 50,000 to 100,000. The US is different, more complex, but you see figures around US $50,000, sometimes higher, maybe 100K, even 200K, depending on who's doing the evaluation, like the group ICER.
Wow. So there are actual numbers attached, even if they vary.
Yes. The point is, health interventions are valued financially in these systems using QALYs.
Okay, so the official tools are for the big picture, system decisions. But how can I, the listener, how can you listening right now, use this QALY concept, especially if you're, say, over 50, health conscious, and you want to stay functional, avoid those common preventable issues?
Right. This is where Dr. Kraushar brings it back to the individual. He argues that really engaging with this QALY idea can be a powerful motivator.
How?
Remember that statistic, 8 out of 10 over 65 with multiple preventable conditions.
Yeah, hard to forget.
If you start thinking about the potential QAL loss associated with those conditions, well, suddenly your daily habits, exercise, what you eat, sleep, they're not just chores. They become investments.
Investments in future QALYs.
Exactly. You start looking for the best return on investment in terms of preserving your future quality of life.
Okay, but if I can't use the official EQ5D to score myself, how do I even start thinking about my QL in that structured way?
So the author suggests another tool, not necessarily for scoring, but more for reflection. It's called the SF6D.
SF6D, different from EQ5D.
Yeah, it has 6 dimensions instead of 5. And the author feels its breakdown, particularly around usual activities, is maybe a bit more nuanced for thinking about fitness and physical function things really relevant to preventing chronic disease through lifestyle.
Okay, so it has similar copyright issues, I assume.
Yes, similar restrictions for scoring, but the idea is to use its dimensions or even the EQ5Ds as a mental checklist.
To reflect on.
Exactly. To reflect on where you are now across these different areas of health and quality of life. How would things change if you developed a condition? This reflection, understanding the components of QL, is sort of the first step before you can assign any kind of value.
Reflecting on the dimensions. Got it. So how do we get from that reflection to a more tangible, personal QALY value?
This is where the author introduces a really clever technique. It's called the time trade-off, TTO.
Do it right off.
It's basically a thought experiment. 3 steps.
All right. Lay it on me. Step 1.
Step 1, envision your what-if scenario.
Yeah.
Really picture it. Think about a health condition you really dread getting, or maybe one you're managing now.
Okay.
Use those dimensions from SF6D or EQ5D to make it concrete. How would it impact your mobility, your ability to do things, your mood, your pain levels? Really try to imagine living in that state. You can even use sample descriptions, vignettes to help.
Got it. Vividly imagine the state. Step 2.
Step 2, the proverbial deal with the devil, as he calls it. This is the core TTO question. Imagine you were guaranteed to live for 10 more years, but in that specific health state you just envisioned. The question is, how many years of perfect health would you accept instead? You'd trade the 10 years in the condition for fewer years, but in perfect health. How many perfect years would be equivalent for you?
Whoa. Trading years of life. That's That's heavy.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? It forces you to place a personal value on that quality difference.
Are there, like, averages for what people say?
There are. Studies show, for example, people with diabetes, on average, might trade about 7 years and 4 months in perfect health for 10 years with diabetes.
So that gives a QALY value of around 0.73. 7.33 years, 10 years.
Roughly, yeah, about 0.733. For major chronic diseases common in the U.S., the average trade is often around 8 years perfect for 10 years with the condition.
Which is a QALY of 0.8.
Exactly. So if you did this exercise and you decided, say, I'd trade 10 years in that state for 8.5 years in perfect health,
right.
8.5 years. You take that 8.5 divided by the 10 years in the condition. 8.5 divided by 10 is 0.85. That's your personal TTO score, your personal QALY value for that state relative to perfect health.
Losing 1.5 or 2 years out of 10.
Yeah.
Even thinking about it, that feels like a massive trade.
It does feel drastic. But here's the kicker the author emphasizes. Remember that statistic again?
8 out of 10 over 65.
Have more than one condition. And it's rising fast in younger groups too, like 35, 64-year-olds.
Right.
So people often aren't just dealing with one thing that lowers their QLOIs. It's often multiple things, and the impact adds up or even multiplies, bringing that overall quality of life down faster than you might think from just one trade-off.
Okay. That really puts it in perspective. So what's step 3? We have the QALY value.
Step 3, put a price on it. Calculate your personal QALY reference value. Dr. Kraushar calls this your personal QI coin.
QI coins, okay.
You ask yourself, how much money would I genuinely be willing to pay, hypothetically, to avoid that QALY loss I just identified in step 2, to buy back those lost years of quality?
So in my example, I traded 8.5 years for 10. I lost 1.5 years of perfect health quality over that decade.
Right. So how much would you pay to get that 1.5 years of quality back? Let's say, just for example, you thought, I'd pay $15,000 to avoid that quality loss over 10 years.
Okay, $15,000.
To get your personal QALY coin value per year, you divide that amount by the total QALY loss over the period. In this case, losing 1.5 years over 10 years is a loss of 0.15 QALYs per year.
That number, your personal QALY coin value, it really makes the potential cost of poor health or the value of good health feel incredibly tangible.
It does. And the author connects this idea of mining your QALY coin directly to lifestyle. Exercise, diet, sleep, these are the main ways you gain or preserve QLIs, especially since most chronic diseases link to those habits.
Exactly. He argues that actively mining these QLOIs through healthy habits takes real consistent effort and time. It's not free, it requires investment. And there's an urgency, especially maybe as you hit middle age.
Definitely. He stresses that for people hitting, say, 50, it's crucial to figure out which lifestyle changes give the best return on investment in terms of QALYs before things like diabetes, heart disease, dementia potentially start to set in.
And using QALYs as your goal helps you filter all the noise, the health advice, the trends.
It really does. If maximizing your QALYs is the goal, you start asking critical questions about any proposed solution. What's the real evidence this improves QALYs? By how much?
Helps you avoid the TikTok fads, the media hype, the biased studies.
All of that. It pushes you towards evidence-based approaches. The author mentions N-of-1 self-experimentation, something he discusses elsewhere, as a way to find what works for you. And he says he plans to tackle the QALY value of specific interventions in future posts on Double Check Doc.
So a good medical writer, or maybe a good health advisor, isn't promising eternal youth.
No. The author quotes someone saying their role is more about limiting the infinite potential for screwing up your health.
That's a great line. It's about making informed choices to avoid unnecessary quality of life loss.
Precisely. Empowerment through clearer thinking and measurement.
And Dr. Kraushar, he walks the talk, right? He shares his own situation.
He does. He and his wife, in their late 60s, are in that tiny group, less than 10% of over 65s with no chronic conditions.
So their QALY score is?
A perfect one. He mentions scoring 11, 11, 11 on the SF60 dimensions. Perfect health.
And they attribute this to?
Making significant lifestyle shifts before they hit 50. Guided by that N-of-1 principle, finding what truly worked for them personally through self-tracking and experimentation, they've even built a web app around it to monitor their progress towards accumulating QALYs.
And they have personal motivation too, seeing family members deal with tough conditions.
Yes, he mentions their dreaded scenarios are things like dementia, stroke, frailty, and because of that, their own personal time trade-off, the years they'd sacrifice, would be much larger than the averages we talked about. It shows how deeply they value their current quality of life.
Wow. Okay, this has been Well, a genuine deep dive. It really flips that health is priceless idea on its head.
Yeah, it gives you this QALY concept, this TTO technique, as a way to actually measure health, value it, and prioritize your actions in a much more concrete way.
And just to be clear, it's not about putting a dollar value on you as a human being.
Not at all. It's about valuing specific health states and the impact of your choices over time in terms of quality of life. It's a tool for motivation and decision making.
So wrapping up, we should probably leave everyone listening with the questions the author poses.
Right. What are your thoughts on QELYs now? How are you steering your own health-related quality of life?
And maybe that final provocative thought. If you think about mining your personal QLI coin through your daily habits, what's one small, consistent action you could start today that might give you the biggest return on investment for your future quality of life?